Mishnah in Pirkei Avos, Perek Gimel, Mishnah Tes says, Rabbi Chanina ben Doisa Omer, Kol shira chitoi kodemes l'chachmaso, chachmaso miskayemes. Anyone whose fear of sinning comes before, precedes his wisdom will endure. V'kol shechachmaso kodemes liras chitoi ein chachmaso miskayemes. But the inverse is also correct, the opposite. Anyone who puts his wisdom first, his wisdom will not endure. Anyone who puts his actions ahead of his wisdom, actions first, actions are more important, his wisdom will endure. And vice versa. Rashi explains over here, the fella, he learned a lot. That's great. However, if his actions are going to be more, meaning he's going to be giving more tzedakah for charity, he's going to be involved with mitzvahs more, so then his Torah will last. But if he's just going to learn and he's not going to fulfill any of the mitzvahs, he's like a woman who's giving birth and then burying the child. Pretty intense. It's like a person is putting down seeds to plant, but he's not harvesting. The Bartanura explains that his actions are more than his wisdom. This refers to he's careful with the positive mitzvahs, the mitzvahs aseh. When the Mishnah refers to his fear for heaven comes first, that's referring to the mitzvahs that are lois aseh, the passive mitzvahs. Rabbeinu Yonah explains over here that he puts his fear from sin beforehand, before his wisdom. So, therefore, that will cause him to get more, to go in the proper way. His heart will have more of a love and to add. But if he puts his wisdom first, the wisdom won't prevent him from sinning. The sins that he was used to, he's going to keep going. Looks like a burden. Then the Rabbeinu Yonah asks, this is a very important question, how is this even possible? How is it possible to have more actions than wisdom? If a person doesn't know what to do, how is he going to fulfill the mitzvahs? So the Rabbeinu Yonah explains, if you don't know how to do the mitzvahs, don't give up hope. Listen to whatever the rabbis tell you and accept that upon yourself. Don't sway from that in any direction. And then it will be considered as if you fulfilled all of the mitzvahs. This is like a nasa v'nishma. Once you accept upon yourself to fulfill the mitzvahs, and you listen to them afterwards, so then that's already considered as if you perform the mitzvahs. That's the Rabbeinu Yonah, that's what he says. The Avos Rabbi Nassan and Perech Beis quotes Rabbi Chanina ben Doisa in this mission over here. Reishis Chachma is Yiras Hashem. The first of wisdom is fearing Hashem. And he would give analogies over here. And he would say, they said in front of Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. He would say that someone who is wise in his fear of heaven is similar to an uman who kliyum biyado. He's a craftsman and he has all of the tools that he needs. However, if he just has the wisdom and he doesn't have the fear of heaven, that's like a craftsman without his tools. What's it worth? What's he going to do? That's the idea over here. Someone fears heaven, but he's not wise. He doesn't have wisdom. He's not even a craftsman. He just has the tools. What's that worth over there? That's the idea over here. Reishish Chachma Yiras Hashem. Vilna Gaon also quotes this in his beer, in his explanation over here. What's the connection between this Mishnah and the other one? The Marchevesh, the Mishnah explains, it said in the previous Mishnah, you got to be careful with learning Torah. So now we're saying, how should you be careful with that? What's the true way to get your Torah to endure, to last? The answer is fearing heaven. The Gemara in Shabbos on Lamed Aleph quotes Reish Lakish, who says, he gives drashas on different psukim. Emunah refers to Seder Zraim, Emunah's Hitech refers to Moed, etc. And then the Gemara quotes the pasuk. It says, "Yiras Hashem hi oitzro." It's all about the fear. Anyone who has Torah, says the Gemara in the continuation, and doesn't have fear of heaven is similar to a treasure. The keys were given over, and he gave him to the internal keys to go into the treasury, but the external keys were not given over. How's he going to get in? The answer is he's not. Rashi explains that fearing heaven is similar to the outer doors. The only way you could get in is if you have the fear of heaven. Rabbi Yanai announced, Machris Rabbi Yanai Chaval al Deleisle Darta, Vitara le Darta Ovid. What does it help if you have the key? Doesn't help. You don't have that other key. Amar Rabbi Yehuda lo bar Kadosh Baruch Hu Salamo Ela Kadesh Yirma Lefanav. Hashem only created the world so that we fear in front of Him. What does it help? You have to have the fear. The Gemara in Brachos and Lamed Gimel quotes Rabbi Chanina, who says, "Hakol bidei shamayim chutz mir shamayim." Everything is in the hands of heaven except for fearing heaven. Shneimar, as the pasuk says, "V'ata ma Hashem elokecha shalom yamach kiyum liyur." What does Hashem ask for us? Hashem just wants us to fear Him. The Gemara says, "Atu yir shamayim milsa zujasehi." Do you mean to tell me that fearing heaven is something that is very light, something that is very easy? V'amar Rabbi Chanina mishum Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai ina lo kadosh baruch hu bebeis genozov. Elo oitzo shel yir shamayim shenemer yir Hashem hi oitzo. So the Gemara answers in Lagabi Moshe milsa zujotzi. By Moshe it's very easy. By Moshe Rabbeinu, because the Gemara continues, if you ask someone for a rare item but they have it, it's very easy for them to give it. But if you ask them for a common item but they don't have it, it's very difficult. It's the same thing with the fear of heaven. So they ask the question, that's by Moshe, but how does that help by us? So they say that everyone has a little trace of Moshe in them. That's what the Gemara says in certain places. Moshe Shapir Kamar. Moshe, it's good like what you said. Fears of heaven, actions are crucial. The Avos Rabbi Nosson in Perichav Daled quotes Elisha ben Avuya, who says someone that has good actions and learns Torah, he's comparable to a person who built stones below and then afterwards he built the bricks on top. He has the proper order for the building. Even if a lot of water is going to come and wind, it's not going to move. But a person who doesn't have good actions and he learns Torah, he's comparable a person to who's building the foundation. He's putting the smaller bricks first. That's going to be a problem. It's not going to work. It has to be stronger, a good foundation. Or similar to a cup, it's got to have a good base. That's the idea. A person just learns Torah, doesn't fulfill the mitzvahs. What's the point? It's very, very bad. A person also needs the proper fear. Avos Hashem, Yiras Hashem.